I received a few emails recently asking for advice on where to go to learn more about revenue management, and I thought the easiest thing to do would be for me to just make a quick video with some suggestions. In general, there's not a lot of books, textbooks, things out there. There is some, but most of it is you're going to find in papers and scholarly papers, and we'll talk a little bit about that. But first, let me start with the publications. And by the way, this is by no means a comprehensive list or a complete review of all the information out there. I'm assuming the folks who are asking for this advice are folks who are not familiar with revenue management. So I'm listing things with that in mind. So yeah, if you noticed that I'm not mentioning something, if you're familiar with revenue management and you're wondering why I'm not mentioning something, it's because I'm not trying to overwhelm you with information. I'm just trying to give folks who want to learn more about revenue management some ideas of where to go. The first book out there that you want to be familiar with is The Theory and Practice of Revenue Management by Tellurian Van Ryzen. This is probably the most comprehensive thing out there. It's just a few years old. It's very current. It's pretty technical. So if you are just looking for your first exposure to revenue management, this might not be the place to start for you. But if you want something that really goes into the mathematical models and is very comprehensive, if you're an academic, if you're looking to do PhD research, at some point this book needs to be on your shelf. So check it out. On a little bit more non-technical application, this book, Pricing and Revenue Optimization by Bob Phillips, is a great book. I really like this book. It's very readable. It's more geared toward an MBA audience than a research student audience. It's very readable, but it doesn't spare you of all the math. I like that because most people do want to see some math, even if they don't want to read a real technical treatise. So if you're looking for a broader exposure to revenue management, I think if I remember, this book is a little bit more general than just keying off the airline industry than Tellurian Van Ryzen's book, but really a good way for you to get exposed to real world applications of revenue management and with some of the technical approach as well. On the other end of the spectrum is this book by Bob Cross, Revenue Management. Very, very high level, not technical. You're not going to learn math and models in this book. But if you're looking for your first introduction to revenue management, this is an enjoyable read. It's quick. It's easy. This is a book, I think, intended for the mass market business audience, as opposed to the ones above it. I think more toward an academic audience. So check those three out. There is more out there. You can take a look on Amazon. There's some stuff on the hotel and hospitality industry. There's a few things on other industry specific things related to revenue management. And if you have a particular interest in golf courses or self storage, things like that, you can look into that. But if you're looking for more of a general introduction to RM, or you're interested in the airline application, these are some good books to look into. The other place that I would really recommend you spend some time looking into are the industry organizations. I don't know if they're industry organizations, but organizations related to operations research. And there's two out there that I'm familiar with. There's more, but these are the two main ones. Agafor's, I'm a big supporter of Agafor's. I've been on the council for a few years. We're a nonprofit organization. Agafor's is airline group for, I don't know, I never remember all the letters, but airline group for the study of operations research. So operations research as related to the airline industry. You'll find Agafor members studying everything from revenue management to other areas of operations research, crew scheduling, fleet assignment, maintenance, things like that. So it's not just revenue management, it's all operations research related to the airline industry. Membership is free. If you were to go on the website, you will find a place where you can search through all of the presentations for the last number of years from the from the conferences that Agaforce hosts, and that's basically the main thing that they do. They host conferences that focus on the study of specific areas of airline operations research. So there's a revenue management study group, there's a scheduling study group, there's different study groups that come together to present on these topics, and then there's a general symposium at the end of the year. If you were interested in revenue management and you go look on the revenue management study group site and page through their presentations from last year or the last number of years, you will see what the current researchers in airline revenue management are working on. So if you're looking for research topics, if you're looking for real current stuff, this is the place to find it. Now, the presentations are often PowerPoint or things like that. They're not complete papers, but you're going to get a good idea of the current state of revenue management and where the current researchers are looking to take the science. Informs is also a great organization, much broader than Agaforce, though. They're an operations research operations research management science organization, not solely related to the airline industry. It's ORMS in a number of different industries. Much bigger organization, bigger conference. I think Agaforce is free. I think there's a fee to join Informs, but I'm not sure. So check that out as well. The other thing you need to do, or you're going to want to do, is look for some of the published scholarly papers, the academic papers. And, they're not all in one place. You have to do a little bit of research. But if you were to go on Google Scholar and just type in revenue management or airline revenue management, you're going to find a lot of stuff out there. You're going to have to do a little bit of work to find out what appeals to you. But most of the real good information out there is not going to be found in books, but in these publications. So check those out as well. There's more out there. I didn't want to mention everything, but there are industry organizations like IATA that does training on revenue management. There are certainly the great universities who are working on revenue management, MIT and Georgia Tech and Columbia, NYU, where I'm affiliated. I'm sure I'm missing, leaving out some great schools. So, but if you're more interested in, where revenue management is being studied from an educational perspective, you can check out some of those schools as well. And by the way, if anyone out there has some suggestions for people who are viewing these videos for great resources that I haven't mentioned, feel free to leave them in the comments.